It's been quite some time since the Dr. Disrespect situation first blew up, but it's one of those internet mysteries that refuses to die down. So today, we're revisiting everything that went down and why people are still debating it. About 4 years ago, Doc was banned from Twitch, and he never explained why. He kept saying the ban was unfair and even talked about suing Twitch over it. Naturally, fans took his side, because when your favorite streamer gets banned without explanation, you assume Twitch is in the wrong. And since Twitch has handed out plenty of unfair bans before, Destiny's a good example, but that's another story, it wasn't hard to believe him. So for years, people thought Doc was the victim of an unfair ban. That was supposed to be the end of it. Until recently. On June 21st, a former Twitch employee named Cody Connors dropped a bombshell on Twitter. He claimed that the real reason Dr. Disrespect was banned was because he got caught messaging a minor through Twitch Whispers, and that he was allegedly trying to meet her at TwitchCon. According to Cody, Twitch's internal team could see everything in plain text. Case closed, as he put it. That's a massive accusation, and at first, nobody believed him. The replies were filled with people asking for proof, screenshots, or anything concrete. Because when you make a claim like that against someone as huge as Dr. Disrespect, you can't just say, "Trust me." Of course, Doc's supporters rushed in to defend him. People started running interference, shutting down the accusations, and even Tristan Tate spoke up for him, which is wild. Then, Doc himself finally responded, posting a tweet saying he didn't do anything wrong and that everything had already been investigated and settled. But people found it suspicious that he said, "I didn't do anything wrong," instead of "I didn't do it." That small detail raised eyebrows. Even his own game studio, Midnight Society, noticed. They decided to run their own internal investigation, and based on what they found, they chose to cut ties with Dr. Disrespect completely. At that point, things were looking really bad for him. So he finally released a long written statement. He opened with an apology to Midnight Society, confirmed he was stepping down, and then finally addressed the Twitch ban directly. In his statement, he admitted that the ban was related to inappropriate Twitch Whispers with a minor back in 2017. But he also clarified that there were no illegal actions, no photos exchanged, no criminal charges, and that the situation was resolved privately through a civil dispute with Twitch. He accepted responsibility for his behavior, but strongly denied being a predator or a pedophile. And honestly, that's a fair point. Those words get thrown around too loosely. Is what he did creepy? Yeah, absolutely. But labeling him as a pedophile might not be accurate, and even I'm unsure where that line really falls. After all this, he said he's taking a break to spend time with family, which sounds a lot like trying to escape the heat. Now, here's where it gets worse. People noticed that Doc edited his statement. Specifically, he changed the wording from individual minor to just individual. That's a pretty strange edit. Because if she really was a minor, why remove that word? It feels like he was trying to downplay the severity or shift the focus away from the age part, which just makes him look even guiltier. After that, his defenders started to distance themselves. Many who once backed him made new videos publicly condemning the behavior. And that's fair, because at first, they genuinely didn't have the full picture. Then came the sponsorship fallout. Apparently, Doc had a deal with the San Francisco 49ers, but they've now ended that partnership, and other sponsors are doing the same. At this point, Dr. Disrespect's name has become radioactive. Any brand still tied to him risks serious backlash. And just when it seemed like it couldn't get worse, 2K Games announced they're removing Dr. Disrespect from NBA 2K24 in the next patch. That really shows how cooked his reputation is.
One eternity later.
Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me without ever interviewing me, the user, or any other third party, including the partner manager. It's fucking unbelievable!
After everything went down, Dr. Disrespect disappeared from streaming for about 2.5 months. During that time, he barely posted anything, and on the rare occasion he did tweet, it was flooded with hate and backlash, since most people had already labeled him a pedophile. That was pretty much the full story, up until September. Because for the first time since June, Dr. Disrespect finally went live again. And this wasn't just a regular comeback stream. This was him directly addressing the allegations for the first time in front of his audience. He kicked off the stream by explaining why he never publicly talked about his Twitch ban all those years ago.
Maybe it's time to tell my side of the story. Huh, champs? You see, there was a lawsuit pending, and as part of that arbitration, all parties were not allowed to speak publicly about the case. I respected those rules. My lawsuit against Twitch was eventually resolved, as you all know. But even then, as part of the settlement, all parties were still prohibited from speaking publicly about the case or the settlement. However, if one side violated that confidentiality, then the other side could respond. And again, champs, I respected all the confidential obligations.
This naturally raises the question, why did Cody Connors leak this information in the first place? The guy's a former Twitch employee, meaning by the time he dropped that tweet, he didn't even work there anymore. And if, like Doc claimed, the situation had already been handled and resolved, then it really seems like Cody did it purely for attention, just chasing some clout off an old controversy.
Cody Connors, ex-Twitch employee, wasn't even involved, leaks Twitch's reported reason. Years later, Cody, why do this? What was the point?
Some old tweets from Cody Connors also started resurfacing, and they make the whole thing look even sketchier. In these posts, Cody was promoting tickets for a show he was performing at, and for some reason, he tried to use Dr. Disrespect's situation as a way to sell them. In one tweet, he literally said, "If this show sells out, I'll 100% explain why we banned him during the set. Y'all know what's going on, and so do I." And this wasn't a one-time thing. He did it multiple times. So when you combine that with the fact that the case had already been resolved legally, it's hard to see any reason for Cody to leak that info other than clout and engagement.
This was settled professionally. And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided, you fucking rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned me in 2020. Well, I mean, for what? Cody, why? Did you not know the repercussions from spewing lies about the two-time? Did you not know the repercussions of accusing me, Cody Connors?
After this, Dr. Disrespect goes straight into denying the allegations, saying he never sexted anyone. But then he says something that left a lot of people confused. He mentions that there was no criminal activity, but also admits that there was some kind of mistake he made years ago, without explaining what that mistake actually was. So fans were left wondering what exactly happened.
Didn't have any first-hand knowledge of my dispute with Twitch. You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was sexting a minor through Whisper's messages? Do you even know what the legal definition of sexting is? I do. And yeah, I used Twitch's Whispers, but trust me, I wasn't sexting anyone. You also said the word minor, Cody. I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited, etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it. And boy, oh boy, did they ever, champs. When you and all these so-called journalists, Cody, fired off your tweets, did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages? You didn't.
This last statement right here was the confusing part, because when Dr. Disrespect first responded to the allegations, he himself confirmed the information. He tweeted, "Were there Twitch whispered messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. So, when he now says it never occurred to him that the person was a minor, it doesn't really make sense, especially since he already admitted they were. Unless he's somehow saying we shouldn't trust his original statement, which obviously isn't what he's trying to do.
It's straight. I never intended to meet this user ever. We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we never met in person ever. If these former trust and safety team members, and by the way, I know exactly who they are, actually had firsthand knowledge, then what they conveniently left out is, 1, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally admitted that the whisper messages were not sexting.
You know what would honestly solve this entire situation and clear up all the confusion? If the chat logs were posted. Like, this drama has been going on for 4 years, and we still haven't seen a single screenshot of those messages. If I were Dr. Disrespect, and people were lying on my name like this, I'd release them immediately just to prove my innocence. Unless, of course, those so-called logs still make him look pretty bad.
I'll say it again. Neither I nor the Twitch user exchanged any sexual graphic messages or images. I even used the word inappropriate, purposely. And look at how it's defined by everyone, champs. Huh? Including these defaming articles. I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place. I mean, how would each of you look if all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words?
He also mentioned that Twitch never made any sort of investment in him, basically shutting down any rumors that they were paying him extra or had some secret deal behind the scenes. So not only did he deny the sexting claims, but he also made it clear that there was no shady business arrangement between him and Twitch before the ban happened.
Not warrant any child sexual abuse material charge. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitted they did not perform any legal analysis of whether the messages exchanged were illegal in any way. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitting that they never investigated the age of consent in the jurisdiction where the user's messages were sent and received. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me without ever interviewing me, the user, or any other third party, including the partner manager. It's fucking unbelievable!
The fact that he said Twitch didn't investigate the age of consent or the jurisdiction of where the user was from, honestly, makes me think the person was probably around 16 or 17. Because in the US, that's still considered a minor, but in some other countries, it's not. And if the user was actually above 18, then in his original statement, he wouldn't have used the word minor at all. So that part kind of says a lot on its own. Even though it's been over a year, the situation still feels unresolved, and maybe it always will be.